There we go. I can easily move this guy out of the way. No big deal. Actually, this is what I can do. We are gonna let you a more entertaining view. Actually, no, I think we're gonna do that from over here. I just think it looks a little better and cleaner and tidier. Okay. Okay. Hold on here. Sorry for the herky-jerkiness, folks. Besides, just making sure everything gets taken care of here. Alright, I think that works for me. Alright. Welcome to the stream, folks. We're a little early. For those of you who do not know, sometimes we start a little early here. So, doing the mass unboxing. So, oh yes, mass unboxing. There is a mass unboxing today. And I think, oh, nope, already we got 2 people. Hey, real quickly, I have 4 figures to unbox tonight. What would you like to see me unbox first? I have Age of Extinction Prime. I have Dark of the Moon Q. I have 86 Bone Crusher. I have, you know what, I'm just going to start unboxing. You all just kind of disappear. So, anyways, there we go. Alright, I'm just going to start unboxing, so, anyways. Alright. So, hooray. I'm just stoked. I have so much planned for this live stream tonight. This might be a double feature live stream. So if you guys are on spring break, congratulations. You guys are hitting this at a very perfect time. So, that being said, if you guys do comment, you guys do get shouted out at the end of the video. So be aware of that. Don't forget that. I genuinely have so much. What's up, Sophie? How you doing? I do believe that is it. That is it. And then you can just, you go that way. You go that way and this way. And then we can take this and just chuck it onto the to be burned pile. Let me clean up our space here really quickly. And we'll start with Bone Crusher and work our way up to Q. So, I genuinely have way too much stuff here tonight. I have Q, I've got Optimus Prime, I've got... this one was the weirdest one I managed to acquire first. I got Megatronis as well, so I mean, there's lots of stuff to go through tonight. So just don't bow out because you haven't seen the figure you wanted to see tonight. Don't be discouraged, folks. Don't be discouraged. We've got lots to do. So, anyways, this can be tossed in the to be burned box. So, hooray! Now, this I do believe goes on like this. Yeah. And somehow this is supposed to be a connector piece for him in ARM mode? I'm not 100% certain. Can someone actually explain that one a little bit more to me? But I genuinely, all I know is what MGO tells us. I just listened to MGO and Thew. What's up, Lemon Lime Studios? How you doing, pal? How you doing? I wasn't joking. I have way too much stuff to do tonight. I have way too much stuff. So, I mean, we have that. We also have this. We also have this just showed up today as well. So, yeah, I'm doing pretty darn. I'm doing good myself, man. I'm doing good. So, anyways, I'm gonna get this dude transformed into his well, maybe not bone crusher mode, but maybe his alt. I'm gonna get him into his alt mode per se because, well, let's be very clear here. We've got a lot to go through this evening. So yeah, I'm still waiting on my Megatronis. I told you, go to Walmart, man. Go to Walmart. Go to Target. Like, go to those places and take note. I have my own vehicle, so I don't know what your vehicular situation looks like, and I try not to judge on those circumstances. So please be aware. I'm not trying to be insensitive to what situations people might be in. I'm not trying to be insensitive to that. But if you're gonna toy hunt, get your ass out there and toy hunt, man. There's lots of ways to toy hunt. So I am sorry you're waiting on on your pre-orders though. I mean, this is why I hate to say it, but I'm no long I do not put my faith in GameStop anymore. Like I didn't put my faith in them years ago, and certainly ain't putting my faith in them now. That's for sure. Like, let me be very clear. My experience with GameStop has soured my experience with GameStop. This should not sour your experiences. You're 14. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, man. But take note, they also have G2 Grimlock with Wildman Wheelie at Target and Walmart too. So be on the lookout for them as well. Along with, if they have them there, then they will most likely also have. Good freaking lord. These legs are annoying. Okay. This body piece here. Why do I feel like this does not. I don't know if I don't know if I'm even doing this right. I'm fairly certain I'm not. I literally just watched MGo's video earlier today, and now I'm confused again to how to do this. As I just figure out again how to do this. So yeah, I'm a real genius there when it comes to this sort of thing. Hooray! As my lights dim. So, yep, total genius on that front. They're totally listening to me on that front. I'm totally lying on that front. I'm not a genius, not even close. Am I a genius? So, here we go. There we go. That goes like that. This collapses up, and then these legs are what I hear annoy the shit out of people. So that goes down like that. That goes down like that. There we go. There we go. And no, guess can't put it there. Boom. There we go. There he is in his bulls. There he is in his bulldozer mode. Hooray. So, yep, there's one. There's one. There's the first deluxe. Got that solved in 10 minutes. Actually, less than 10 minutes. So, I mean, but then again, it's a G1 toy. And it's also the second one. Oh, that being said, this one fixes a packaging error that's on the first Studio Series Devastator figure. This one says 2 out of 6. The first one says 1 out of 5. The first one, I can actually tell you what mistakes were made with that packaging detail. So the packaging mistake that was made there was they were talking about one. This is the first box out of 5 boxes that you're gonna get. One of those 5 boxes is going to contain 2 figures. So you're still going to get 6 figures, but it's going to take 5 boxes to do so. So I can understand where the confusion went through with that one. That I can totally understand. However, I think Hasbro is going to fix that on later issues of the copy. So I think he's too green. I mean, I love the color green. Well, he is animation accurate. That being said, did everybody hear about the cancellation of Studio Series 86 next year? Like, seriously, did anybody hear about that? Because I was slightly taken aback by it, that next year is the last year that we're getting Studio Series 86. So next year is going to be the next year. that or next year being the final year that they do that, they're going to re-release, or they're going to re-release a couple of figures. Like from what I understand, they're going to re-release Hot Rod. They're going to re-release Scourge of all characters. I honestly think if they're going to re-release any characters, they need to re-release at the very least. I would honestly like to have seen them re-release. Oh, geez, Louise, there's so many good ones. I would honestly like to see. I would like to see a Voyager Skywarp happen. I need to see that, but no. To continue on from what I said just a minute ago, yes, we are getting another Hot Rod. I'm not joking. We're getting another re-release at Hot Rod. Um, so they are going to completely, from what I understand, next year, it's just going to be all hands on deck for Studio Series 86, as that's the final year for it. And from what I understand, I can understand it from a marketing standpoint, because you've had all of this time building up to the, what was it? Now we're at the 40th anniversary of the 1986 movie. Oh, by the way, what's up, Zaga the animator? I apologize. How you doing? Yeah, we're working on Q right now. We just unboxed this guy, and we just did this guy. We've got him in his bulldozer mode, and we're now working on Q here, and we've got Megatronis and Age of Extinction Prime sitting over there just waiting for us. So we're just trying to get through all of this whilst also BSing about the current events that are going on. So yeah, that's what we're doing tonight. So I've also got laundry going on in another room, so got that there. That can be tossed into the box of Oblivion. So, and if anybody doesn't know what the box of Oblivion is, it's basically just the box that I store all of the items that are going to end up in the fire pit later this summer. So, yeah, it's currently not full, so not even close to it is it full. But it will be soon. But soon. Thanks. So yeah, anyways, Megatronis the Fallen. I see you've replaced one of the boxes in the background. Behold, it wasn't just one of the boxes. I actually replaced two. I replaced that one and Optimus Primal's box, because this I found out was just barely enough space for the length of 2 liter class boxes. So, by the way, having owned the prior figure to this guy, this is a little bit of a breath of fresh air, because, oh my gosh, they actually put more focus into this character. Firstly, let's take a quick look at that head sculpt. Let's bring it up. Let's bring him in here. Oh, you gotta go. What's up? Sorry, see you later, Zaga. I apologize. But, dude, I'm just so stoked that they bothered to even give us Q. Like, seriously, I know they're going to continue with way, way more characters that are going to go on later down the road. I'm not even questioning that, because I definitely know for a fact that next year they've got a couple of figures from Rise of the Beasts that are going to finish it out. So that much I'm aware of. Their goal is to completely finish out a few movie titles. Like, from what I understand, they're going to give us at least one or two, from what I understand, repaints of Scorponok. So that will finish out Rise of the Beasts for the so-called on-screen Predacons. So you'll have those to work with, and I'm not upset about that. I'm just a little bit like, you guys couldn't have thought of, something a bit better. That's where my mind went to. Where well, I mean, I'm not the person who sits there in these meetings and comes up with these decisions. I don't make the toys. I don't make the executive decisions on what things need to go where. I don't choose that. But if I had to, I would say you need to put a little bit more focus into your characters. A few of their designs were lacking, and I think a few of them needed a few more transformation joints. Literally, an extra joint here or there is not going to kill you. So I definitely do not hate on that, though. This kind of reminds me of Jolt a little bit, but only in the sense of the kibble. But from what I understand, yeah, the management's not too bad. Okay, let's get these legs done really quick. Did I not? Did I do something wrong? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I don't think I did. I don't think I did something wrong. I might have done something right. Alright, then fold that heel skirt in all the way. Rotate. Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. Okay. Phantasmic. This unlocks it. Rotates. So, yeah, that being said, I hope everybody is having a wonderful, wonderful time this weekend here, or this week with their families. If you guys are doing spring break, if you guys do have public school, if you don't have public school, then, you know, the majority of the time you're just doing you, which I totally understand that too, so, which, you know, public education is not for everybody. I don't blame that. But I'm also not saying it isn't at least a good stepping stone for places you can go. So, yeah. Oh, the places you'll go. So, that being said, let's see, is today the 10th? Today is the 10th. Today is the 10th. Anyways, so tomorrow is actually the very last day for you guys to enter in the giveaway for the 2-pack that I've got that I'm either going to list up here in a little bit, because none of y'all have done at all what I've asked, because y'all wanted me to do a giveaway and none of y'all wanted to participate in said giveaway, so I'm at a standstill with it. So I'm gonna do. You guys have exactly till Saturday to get me in your fan art. Send it to the email that I've got in my community posts. I've got it in there. But anyways, we've got Q done and ready to go. So there's that one. And now I can close up the box. Then, let's see. Which one should we do? I think we're going to do Megatronis, the Fallen. Yeah, I think we'll just do him first. We're going to have to scooch this guy over here a little bit. Ugh. So, anyways. This guy has been sitting on my shelf for about a week and a half now. And I've been dying to get him opened out of this boxy prison. So, let's get him out. So, and we happen to have in here, alright, we're going to scooch that box off to the side here, but we also happen to have his bride-to-be here, and if you guys have not seen the Machinima, the Machinima series, you guys definitely need to stop watching what I'm doing, and you need to go watch it, because this chick here is like the reason why this guy goes completely apeshit. And almost destroys the entire freaking universe. So, like, take note. It's not her fault directly. Like, at all. It is not her fault directly. It's because this guy went completely apeshit. So. But, no. This one is based directly off of the... Oh. What did I nick? I nicked something. I felt something. I should not have felt that. Why did I feel something? Okay, well, we will be looking for issues later down the road. I didn't break anything. I didn't feel anything break or hear anything snap. So that's the good news. Come on. Jeez Louise. Then, cut this off. Put that right there. Move that over there. Take this to the undesirables burnable box right there. This gets to go inside said box with it. Alright, so this is actually the first figure to come with effects in it, with actual, like, effects parts in a good minute, aside from, like, oh, here we go, there's a few more parts we're missing. There's one of them. Go over there. Oh, there's the rest of it. I gotta say, of all of the leader classes I've messed with in the recent days, this guy's pretty loaded with accessories. I'm not even gonna lie. So, yeah. All right. Scooch that there. Just bring this over a little bit here. All right. So this guy has been sitting on my shelf for a good minute. All right. Let's get this guy into his tank mode. Like, I'm just gonna just get him into his tank mode because I already know that it'd be a waste of time if I didn't do that because the tank mode is what I need to have ready to go for the review. So y'all can enjoy that. Well, that's not what I wanted to have happen. In fact, I'm fairly certain that wasn't supposed to happen at all. There's a mushroom peg, and a tiny one at that. That is not secure. I don't like that. I genuinely don't like that. That scares me. Like, truly, that scares me. That really does scare me. I am not even joking on that front. Okay. That might have fixed something. I don't know. Nope, didn't do shit. That's not good. I don't like the way that just doesn't hug that mushroom peg. It does not want to stay on the mushroom peg at all. What's up, Vector's Prime? Oh wait, I think I might have just gotten it to snap on. I might have just gotten it too. You gonna do what I want you to? Okay. And then that goes like that. And then, yeah, this. Oh my gosh. This is a little more difficult than I pictured and imagined. Let's do this. Come on. Yeah. Untap the arms. Do that. That's better. Pull that down. Pull that up. Flip that up. Close these up like that. There we go. Fold these down like so. Alright. I've watched a grand total of maybe 2 reviews on this guy, and all of them were not as detailed as I wish they were. So, what's up, Vectorus? I have yet to find Megatronis because I have not been to Target or Walmart in a while. I would suggest you go check them out. They are they've got some new stuff, and when I say new stuff, I genuinely mean new stuff. Found these at Walmart. So, apologies. Apologies. I did not mean to ignore you. Didn't mean to ignore you in the slightest, there, buddy. I did not mean to. It's not my intentions to do so. So, and there goes my idiot neighbor. So, yeah. Anyways, this is one of the more difficult ones that I have ever come across. So let's see what we can do. Yeah, I've got somebody upstairs who's watching a Hallmark movie. What do y'all think of Hallmark movies, by the way? Just asking. I gotta rotate this around so that way. Okay, that's where I messed up. Ah, I feel so stupid. Because that needs to go in there. That one needs to go in there. Okay. I feel slightly better about that. Slightly better about that. Not 100% all the way better, but I feel slightly better about that. So, jeez Louise. I know. Oh, gosh. Okay. I concede at the current moment. I need the instructions. You're watching a pro yield. If you need a detailed review on this guy, watch the video. Nope, I refuse to watch him. You can try and tell me he's a good guy and everything of that nature, but no, I refuse to watch him. I refuse to watch Prime versus Prime. I just refuse. So, getting that notion out of the way. Okay, so okay, so this goes right in here as it just pops off. That's ridiculous. Those go there. So yeah, please just don't mention Prime versus Prime to me. I just will. You can try and tell me whatever you want to tell me. I'm not going to listen. I do not care for the dude. Oh, come on. I just don't. Okay, so is this supposed? I guess this is supposed to be like this, but because I am not doing this right. There we go. So, anyways. Though I do appreciate you trying to help me out with that. I do appreciate you trying to help. I do appreciate it. I'm not trying to discourage you from trying to help me out. I truly appreciate you trying to help me out. I just don't have respect for him as a Transformer reviewer in the slightest. I have none for him. Because in his early videos, and take note, this is I'm not even going to say this, but I like to call him the world's most honest thief. Like that's what I like to call him. Cuz if you're going to sit there and tell people, "Oh, I got an early sample." This is not an early sample if you paid through the nose for it and ended up having to go through the back alleys for it. You didn't pay through the nose. You bought it you bought it stolen. Like, that's what I do not like about the dude. Is the fact that he says it's an early sample. It's not an early sample if you paid through the nose to get a hold of it early. It's not early if someone had to steal it and literally do that, and you're like doing that. They're only doing this just because it literally pays their rent check or their rent for the month, and they're in hard times. That is so unethical. It blows my mind. It just blows my mind that certain people get away with it, and the thing that frustrates me with it is they get away with it, and they get away with it to a point where, like, nobody questioned it. Like, okay, so the dude's got this, but Hasbro hasn't come questioning with lawyers? Like, anybody else, if it was anybody else, Hasbro would come, question with lawyers, say, where did you get this? You just wouldn't see that happen over here. Like, I mean, well, you would, but it just wouldn't. It's just, I do not approve of the dude. So I did screw something up. Yep. I have somebody who's upstairs there watching a movie while they're running on the treadmill, so. Come on. Just keep on there. There we go. There's that. Okay. I screwed up again. Massively. And royally. Yet again. Yeah, that makes more sense. So, that makes way more sense. Okay, so there's that. That folds down. And these fold on top of it. That's quite clever. Do I... Nah, I don't see... Okay, so everybody was saying, oh, this is going to be the mold for Studio Series 86 Megatron. This is not going to be that. I can tell you that right now. I, however, can see this being redone into an Armada Megatron. That I can see being done. Maybe not to a perfect degree, but I can see it. Are you planning on getting the Leader Class Onyx Prime? I am. I am planning on getting as many of the Age of the Primes figures as I possibly can get a hold of. So yeah, I am planning on that. So it's definitely in the plans for sure. So there's also one more thing I wanted to talk about with everybody. Over the week, we had a bunch of movie trailer releases. So first of all, first movie that honestly I'm kind of more excited for, and this is me personally, is I'm excited for Tron Ares. I don't know if anybody saw that trailer that came out with that, but there's going to be a third Tron movie. Jeff Bridges is on board. I'm super stoked about that. I'm like, if they did not have Jeff Bridges, I probably would not go see this movie. Like, that movie would honestly not even be anywhere near my watch list. Like, it would probably be on the bottom of the last page on the bottom of the page. So, yeah. Alright, so now, I do believe we are at the final stretch for Megatronis Prime here. Let's see. Let's do this instead. I think I'm doing this right? Maybe? I want to believe I'm doing it right. Something feels off. Something feels a wee bit off. Yep, there it is. I knew something was off. There we go. I knew something felt funkily off. There we go. That's better. That's much better. Much better. That is going to just... What the So, alright. don't know what I'm doing wrong. Don't think I'm doing anything wrong. What did the instructions say? Oh, okay, so it's supposed to be like this? What? How does that make sense? So, but yeah, I am planning on getting Onyx Prime. That one is one I am planning on getting. It is a beautiful figure. I think they let Hasbro cook a little, maybe not a little too long, but they let them cook on that one. That one was one I think they were just like, nah, just let them just do it. And they were like, but we need to talk about budget constraints. And they're like, no, we're not talking about anything unless it's about getting this figure out. And that figure, of course, being Onyx Prime. So, alright, so there's that. Alright, and then these are supposed to go right here. So, yeah, you're supposed to go right here. So, that's supposed to go there. And then these can be wherever. But I have a feeling I want to put some right here. So that's that. And then here's this, which can be placed on this side here. And there we have Megatronis in tank mode right there. Oh, we are on fire tonight. Yes, we are. 3 figures down, 1 to go. Oh, you guys have no idea how excited I am for these next couple of days to just do reviews. Oh, just so stoked about it. So, anyways. This guy's review is coming out on the 25th, so be on the lookout for that. So, yeah, it's going to be entertaining with that. So, anyways, this goes back in the box. This box gets closed back up. And I do like the new boxes that they have for the designs. So, yep, there's this one. And finally, we are on the very last figure here. So, I'm going to have to make some room here. I am going to have to move. This lad, unfortunately, is going to have to go on the other side, as are these guys, because, unfortunately, there can only be room for 1 Prime. So, yeah. That being said, this figure is probably the one that I gotta say I've been waiting on the most. And the reason why I've been waiting on it the most is because, firstly, Hasbro hasn't given us a screen-accurate Age of Extinction Optimus Prime yet, aside from the Last Night Voyager. And the Last Night Voyager was a good figure, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on that figure at all. It was a good figure. However, the backpack and the leg kibble was just unbearable. So I just cannot understand how that was how they managed to get through that part of planning, how they managed to get through all the parts of it, and then all just in the final 0 hour, we're just like, whatever. I just feel like the Last Night, that's exactly how the majority of things were done for it. What really frustrated me is that was supposed to be my Age of Extinction and Last Night Optimus Prime. And take note, I had to order this from Amazon in order for this to show up. What's up, Sketchy Productions? Excuse me. What's up? How you doing? I apologize. I had to take a sip of some unsponsored drink. So, yeah. Anyways. All right, let's get this Prime out of the box. And oh man, I'm so stoked about getting this guy out of the box. This guy's just So, I found my new favorite Megatron War for Cybertron game, not the show. Yeah, the War for the War for Cybertron Megatron, the show wasn't terrible. It lacked a lot of things. There were so many things that were flawed from the idea of the show. And they just, instead of choosing to fix them, they chose to just run with it. And unfortunately, that's a trend that I've seen Hasbro do. But lately, I've been seeing them work with things. Like, for example, they brought back the plastic packaging or the plastic windows on the packaging. Like, oh, yay, I don't have to deal with kids jumping their fingers and sneezing all over the boxes to a point where I can't take a wipe and wipe it down before I unbox it, which I have done since these have gotten into my hands. It is cold and flu season, so I'm not saying go get your cold and flu shots. I don't believe you have to get your shots. However, I do believe that if you do get your shots, you are better immunized. So I do agree with that. So, yeah. But anyways, you guys should definitely take your personal health a little bit. You should take your personal health a little seriously. That's all I say. You don't want to be sitting there pushing up daisies before your grandkids can say hello. Damn, that was not what I wanted to see, but... Oh, sorry, I'm late. What's up, Sentinel Edits? Did you already... Yeah, I already opened Bone Crusher. I already opened him, unfortunately. I already opened him. I opened him, Q, and Megatronis. We are on the final Optimus... We are on the final figure of the night, which is the Age of Extinction Prime, whilst we're also bullshitting about Transformers here. And then this gets yeeted into the box of unexistence. So, but anyways, oh, this just makes me smile. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm in the minority of people who actually like this thing a lot more than a lot of the people who don't like it. Like, it needs more paint, it needs more paint, it needs more paint. You know what? Hasbro's solution to paint chipping. What's up, Riveted? How you doing? How you doing? What's going on? This is what I will do for you, Sentinel Edits, because you did miss that. I will place this right here for you, just so you are aware, and I will place it right next to Scrapper, so that way you do have a good general idea of what's up. So, but anyways, we're getting down to the wire of figures here, and this one was the one that I was waiting for the most. And take note, this was the figure that had me postpone the live stream till today. By the way, what's up, Riveted Rail fan? How you doing? So, but this figure here is what made me postpone it, because this figure is technically not supposed to be out for another week and a half. So, a little backstory. The only reason I have this little bit of knowledge that I'm about to share with y'all here is that when I had a buddy of mine who was working shift at Target, and he was just talking to me about how his shift went, and then he was telling me, he goes, "Yeah, I got to deal with the next batch of toys." I said, "Oh, when does that come in?" And he goes, "Oh, believe it or not," he goes, "you might find this interesting." He goes, "The next batch of Transformers is supposed to be put out the shelf next week." I was like, "You're kidding me." I said, "What do you mean by next week?" He goes, "Oh, do you want me to show you?" He took out his scheduled product release dates on a clipboard and showed it to me. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? These are supposed to show up on these days?" And he goes, "Yeah, dude." He goes, "If you wait just a couple of days," he goes, "all the figures that you want will be here." I'm like, well, I was like, this kind of changes everything a little bit. And he goes, "Yeah," he goes, "you might want to hold off on putting those pre-orders in at GameStop." I said, "Why?" He goes, "Well, because GameStop usually gets them in the same time we do." I was like, "You're kidding me." He goes, "No, I'm not kidding you. GameStop gets all their pre-orders in the same time we do. Like, anytime somebody does an order or does an order online or has an order that, needs to be fulfilled," he said, "basically what happens is it gets sent to a database system within Target and GameStop and a few other companies. I will not name them. I genuinely will not name them because I do not want those companies to come after me. I am genuinely slightly afraid for my life on those companies. But how do I get this open? Okay, I think I can just... There we go. Yeah. That pops open like that. And this goes in like so. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. This. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So. Yeah, I don't know what's being watched up there, but I think it's Hallmark. I genuinely don't know what's being watched up there, but I think it's a Hallmark. I think it's a Hallmark Christmas movie. I don't know what's being watched. I genuinely don't know. So it's just whatever's on the Hallmark channel, I do believe. So that goes there, and this gets tabbed in there. Okay. So then this comes wildly swinging up here. And I gotta do the same thing on the other side. Damn it. But anyways, the show that I'm actually kind of the most nervous for this year is Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Netflix show. Not the animated series. That actually I'm not worried about in the slightest. Brian Konietzko and Michael DiMartino, they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing when it comes to that sort of thing. So I do not question their leadership in that sort of realm. It's just that I make questions to a few decisions for what Netflix has made casting choice wise for the next season of Avatar: The Last Airbender, for Book 2 Earth. Take note, it's not anything that I have an issue with, and I don't have an issue with the gender of these castings. I mean, I really don't have a problem with that. What I have an issue with is that those characters, the attitudes don't really fit the gender of the time period and of the era. So, like, for example, in that time period, I can tell you right now, oh crap. That's not what's supposed to happen. That's not supposed to what's happening here. So this is supposed to not happen. But geez, that joint sucks and is too tight. But anyways, that covers that up. That covers that up. There we go. Half a truck done. Actually, not even half. This is more like a quarter of a truck. So, but anyways, so let's see if we can do this properly without screwing the whole thing up here. Jeez Louise, I genuinely don't want to break this thing. Oh, I gotta rotate the waist. That's right. Rotate the waist. That's gotta fold back out like that. That's gotta close. That's gotta open. That's on a double joint. That goes like that. This closes back up. This rotates around. So that goes like that. Okay. So we're coming to the wire here. You know the TV show The Wire? I don't know. I don't know why I said that. I've never seen the TV show The Wire. I don't even know what The Wire is about. Okay, so it goes like that. All right, and then also I forgot to flip this up, flip this back up, and then we got to do the same thing on the opposite side. This is gonna suck when I have to review it. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this one's review. So no, don't do that. Okay, and then this all squared up. There we go. Rotate that around. And we need to make sure everything just lines up because these double hinges move. That moves up. That moves up. There we go. There we go. That closes up like so. And then, oh yeah, this nonsense here. All right, there we go. And then we can take this, close this gap up there. And I can make sure all of that closes up on top. It's not tabbing in properly, but it's going to now. There we go. And these just come around the sides and just kind of loosely. Okay, there we go. This is such a strange figure. Not as in like a strange figure, like as in to buy, but because it's a good figure. I do like this figure, but I think it's a little strange because of some of the transformation choices. But all things considered, we have the Western Star Truck. Yay! So, but I'm also one more thing is I'm happy about that we have the sword. We have, unfortunately, a pitiful shield, which I do appreciate the fact that they did bother to do some form of consistency, because in Age of Extinction, this shield did split apart, and it did become a cannon, so I do give them some consistency for that. What I do not give them consistency for is what they did to the rest of it. So you can take this and shove the sword right on in there. I'm just going to close this back up. And then this have to go back here into the little trailer hitch right here. Once again, fantastically jerk neighbor. But basically, that goes all like this. And then this piece right here, this piece, I can't figure out where to put it. Like, I genuinely have no idea where this needs to be placed. Like, I think it might need to go here on the side, but it weirdly doesn't. Oh, wait, hold on. Never mind. I see where it goes, right here. There we go. That's better. So, anyways, this knife is extremely overly inaccurate to what he actually wields in the movie. So, anyways, finally, Megatronis, Optimus Prime, Bone Crusher, Q. There's all of the ones that we've done tonight so far. So that being said, if you have stuck with us this far, and if you have commented, then we will be shouting you out this evening. And I'm actually making a new rule to this. We will no longer be holding the daily or the usual ones unless it is a regular review or it's a regular thing. So we are going to do, however, only on live streams. We're only going to show off the. We're only going to announce the people who actually showed up to the live stream. We're not going to do the annual ones, except for a handful. Like, and when I say handful, like, granted, maybe like 3 or 4. And because one of those that I would normally do showed up this evening, I'm not going to worry about saying his name. So, anyways, we are going to end this stream here. So, if you guys have not done so already, please do subscribe for more content, because as you can clearly see, we have more content to come. And as you can clearly see, we have quite some amazing content to come. So, like, we've got Megatronis Prime, Age of Extinction Prime. We've got freaking 86 Bone Crusher. To which, by the way, if any of you guys do manage to get one of those from GameStop and you get it without any flack from the employees and you have no problems with it, okay, more power to you. I wholeheartedly, more power to you. I give you so much credit for that, because the people who I dealt with in the area that I went to, the place that I went to place the order for not only Bone Crusher, not only this guy, but this guy too. Like, by the way, you can catch the review for this guy in the Studio Series playlist. But the The clerk told me when I originally set the pre-order, I said, hey, how long is it going to take for all of these figures to show up? And originally he told me, oh, these are going to show up in April. These are going to be no big deal, dude. You'll have them in your collection. Now is when he was telling me they were going to show up and that they were going to be shipped, that everybody's pre-orders were going to be taken care of like within this week to next week were the dates that he was giving me and the dates that were shown on my pre-order. Well, I went to bed. The very next day, I woke up checking to see what was going on because, hey, pre orders. I'm excited. This is one of the first times I've done this with GameStop. Well, GameStop changed the pre order date on me and then blacked it out on my account. So I couldn't see what my pre order date was. So I'm like, well, that doesn't seem right. So I went to Walmart and I was like, okay, well, I'm at Walmart. No big deal. No big deal. I'm in the toy aisle. I see in the toy aisle a box that is labeled Transformers Studio Series Voyager Assortment Lot. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. So I opened the box. I talked to the Walmart employee. I said, hey, do you mind if I open this? I have a feeling there's something in here that I really want. And he goes, I'm just about ready to put those out. So yeah, he goes, you're doing my job for me. I don't have to do anything. He goes, just make sure you put them over by where they would normally be. And just make sure that you're respectful and put them and just don't, fuck up everything for me. And I was like, you know what, man? You've been respectful to me for letting me open this without anybody else's supervision. Thank you very much, man. So I open the box and Scrapper is in there. I pull him out. I'm like, this is coming with me to the checkout stand. I hide one of the Sentinel Primes because clearly nobody was going to get a hold of that guy soon. So I got a hold of one of them. By the way, that review is on my channel. If none of you guys have seen that review, so go check that review out if you need to go check it out. But so I go to the checkout line. I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm going right to GameStop and I'm canceling the pre-order for Scrapper, for just Scrapper, okay? Well, I talked to the GameStop employee and I said, hey, just out of curiosity, when are my pre-order dates going to show, or when are my pre-orders going to show up? The dates disappeared on my GameStop account. I can't seem to figure out why. I was here yesterday to put the pre-order in. Everything showed up just fine. Said it was supposed to be showing up around April 10th to 11th, right around the 10th, between the 10th and the 15th is when it said. And he goes, oh, what employee did you get yesterday? And I said, well, I'm not going to tell you I'm not even going to describe him to you, because just on the off chance you guys, I live near where I live and know who I am. But the dude, I give him the description of the dude, and he says to me, he goes, oh, yeah, he was our new guy. You got the new guy speech. I'm going to give you the actual employee speech. Your pre-orders aren't going to show up until July, dude. I'm like, come buy me that again? And he goes, your pre-orders are not going to show up until July. I said, what dates are those days going to be? And he said, for Scrapper, it was going to be July 5th, and for Bone Crusher, it was going to be July 18th. I'm like, okay, well, I can immediately cancel the pre-order for Scrapper because I have him in my car right now and I can literally go show that to you. The employee looked at me and he goes, how the heck did you get that? I said, I went to Walmart. He's at Walmart right now. And he goes, no. I said, do you want to see my receipt? And he goes, yeah, I want to see that right now. So I pulled the box from my car, showed the GameStop employee, who was in disbelief that I had the Transformer that was sitting on the pre-order shelf that was just a tag, not even a box or anything of the nature. I had the thing that was sitting there, and he was very frustrated, flustered, angry. He goes, fine. He goes, I take it you want to cancel that pre-order? I said, yeah, I just want to cancel Scrapper. He goes, okay, fine, no big deal. So I cancel Scrapper, I get my money back, no big deal. Well, I then discover that there's more release dates that nobody has stated yet. And I would talk to my buddy who worked at who were not Walmart, who worked at Target, and he tells me, he goes, "Yeah, once again, wait another week and a half to 2 weeks." He goes, and Bone Crusher will be on the shelf immediately. I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me." He goes, "No." He goes, "Literally, just go cancel your pre-order. It's not worth it. I promise you, it's not going to be worth it in the end." I'm like, so basically, I'm just holding a spot in line to have something that's supposed to come to me. And he goes, "You pretty much." I'm like, this is ridiculous. My luck usually pans out better. And fortunately, once again, it did. Because 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I canceled my pre order for Bone Crusher and I acquired him at Walmart just as they were putting him on the shelf. I also, well, okay, so I purchased this guy at Target, I purchased this guy at Walmart, and I purchased this guy and this guy off of Amazon. So there's a little bit of everything here. I don't like the way that didn't tab in properly. Still didn't tab in properly, but yeah, so that's the whole gist of the story of how I came into acquiring all of these figures you see here before you. Oh, and not to mention this one, and I went to two other GameStops. The only one that I actually have that I purchased and acquired at a GameStop is this one. This is the only one that I acquired at a GameStop. And that was because they were literally just going on the scalpers market for like 65 bucks. And I was like, I'm not paying 65 bucks on the scalpers market. I'm going to wait till it eventually hits shelves and then I'll acquire it. And then I went to a GameStop to go see if there were any other figures that I could literally talk them into either selling me or maybe not even selling me, but I could talk them into actually letting me see or actually do something with, or buy them. Okay, selling exactly. But the point is that I wanted to see if they actually had anything. Dude, every person turned me down. They were like, "Why are you asking us about that? You're not supposed to talk about that. We don't even have that yet. Get out of our store." And I'm like, well, the reason I know about it is because it's all over the place right now. So, yeah. So, now my next question is going to be in the form of this here. So, to which, really quickly, do you guys think it's worth it to do a pre-order, provided you're not able to find these figures out in the wild? And you definitely don't want to pay scalper prices, that's for sure. Scalper prices for this guy, by the way, do not ever pay a scalper at all for this guy. Holy cow, that was ridiculous. I went on eBay and Mercari and Craigslist and Etsy and I went to several different sites that I know that I can purchase Transformers, and every single one that had this guy on there, well over $100. I was like, no, this is ridiculous. You're not going to charge me more than $100 for a Transformer that I can go buy at Walmart for half the price, which I found at Target. So, anyways, that's my story with that. So, anyways, this is Thomas Fan 1 here, and we are going to shout out our commenters before we end the stream. So, do not forget to check out Sophie. Do not forget to check out Lemon Lime Studios. Do not forget to check out Zaga the Animator. Do not forget to check out Victorous Prime. Do not forget to check out Sketchy Productions. I love that name. It's pretty cool. Do not forget to check out Sentinel Edits. And do not forget to check out Riveted Railfan. Also, do not forget to check out Patrick with the Y, iStar552, Bravely GG, and Take Along Productions, as they have done some amazing work in the past. Definitely have helped me out with my channel in the past as well, and I can definitely hope that I can help them out in the future. So, anyways, this is Thomas Fan 1 saying, do not forget to keep playing with your toys. Goodbye.